That's it. We're live, Clint. We're live. We're gonna do
Yep, last I checked, we were alive.
yeah. That's the only way.
This is
we
a
can
Greg
get
and
our
Clint
coffee.
zombie show.
Yeah. So here we have the zombie show. That's during the work week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
This is
kidding.
gonna be.
Wait, this is my work week.
This is your work week, yeah. So welcome. We're gonna do Alpha Strike here. A couple of people have asked us how to play, right? Alpha Strike. Clint knows far more than me, so we're going to give you a little bit of an introduction here. And
I want to talk about it a little bit, and then I'm going to go through the quick how to play.
yeah,
Just the stuff that basically comes in the box, even though I'll have a little more than that. Just for those that really have not gotten into it or have been wanting to get into it. And
it's a fun game. I mean, it's really a fun game to play. So we're gonna show you guys how to play, talk about it, and
I'm going to just show you the basics and touch base on some of the more advanced stuff, but not really delve into it like the tanks and the fighters and
tanks. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, those things with treads that you like so much.
Yeah, I love tanks, man. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I like armor. So that is what we're going to do.
Like-
Hello, you guys. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi.
So
if you have questions, ask.
Yep.
Type in a question. It is, we're just kind of waiting a couple of seconds here because we know there are people that are trying to get on and want to get on our other platforms that we're doing separately. So
I will totally stop and answer questions as you get them, Greg, that way.
Okay.
That way we're just, I mean, I'm going to keep this relaxed. There's no big structure to it.
So what is Alpha Strike about?
So what I wanted to, I guess, touch base, Alpha Strike is just the easier version of BattleTech, or
much faster.
in a better terminology, it's a skirmish-based version of BattleTech. I did not bring any BattleTech stuff because we're going to talk about BattleTech as much, so I didn't want to. But the miniature's the same, the dice is the same, a lot of the terrain's the same. You're really, the only difference is you've got some extra steps on your charts, and you're going to have different sheets. So Alpha Strike's going to have the cards, BattleTech's going to have your mech sheets.
So where do you want to start with showing people?
Well, right now I'm just going to talk a little. I've got a couple things I want to show that we won't focus on later. I just want to touch base on it, and that'll be easy to do now. As we go along, I'm going to explain some of the. Well, I'm only going to explain to you guys how to play out of the core box, which is what you see right here.
This is the core box. Hello. Go ahead, Clint.
Oh, you're fine. And the miniatures you see here are from the core box. Now, the dice are not. The dice were the Kickstarter unique dice, but really any 2d6 will work, especially when you weight the one side so it always comes up sixes. I mean,
oh, you mean like what Keegan did? Microwave the dice?
Yeah. I mean, any dice will work. Just What you're seeing is the cover of the core box. And this is when you want to really delve into the newest version of Alpha Strike. This is where you want to start. This is going to give you a whole bunch of, it's going to give you mechs. It's going to give you your quick reference sheets, which I'll explain a little more later. You're going to get your quick start rule book, which is, a decent little rule book.
Oh, nice.
And
it's not thick though, so
no,
I like that. That means
it is
simplified.
So
rules.
it is the base rules with very little advanced stuff. There is some advanced stuff because this does cover like airstrikes and a few other things if you want to add them, destroying buildings. But it is for the most part just pretty much the simple stuff. I like with the box set.
Go ahead. Clint,
it's all full color book, and it actually shows you all the mechs that come in the box set. The box set does come with some really cool terrain. I'm not going to drag the terrain out at the moment. It's all cardboard terrain, but it's really cool trees, really cool buildings. For the money you're paying, you're getting quite a bit.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot in this Alpha Strike box, so you could even show it off too if you want, Clint. But is this your?
No, I don't want to do the whole box and just do an unboxing, but there's just a few.
So what else you got there?
You will have battlefield support cards, and these we have not used yet. These are your airstrike cards. So instead of having the miniatures or planes and whatever, they basically have cards for it. You're going to get your Alpha Strike cards, and then in this case, your unique pilot cards for all the mechs that are in the box.
Cool.
So those, we haven't utilized those yet because we're not using unique pilots. And since most of us are actually doing mercenary units, we are our own unique pilots.
Nice.
So-
All right, so you're gonna get this box,
Yep.
everything you need, and then
Yeah. Yep. So everything you need to play and then some to play at a slightly advanced level. For those that want to take it to the next step or do more, you will need this guy. And you will see this cover. There are two versions of this book. There's the older version, which is was last year's or a year before. And then there's this guy. So the one with the green lasers on the cover is the most current version. So the Commander's Edition for Alpha Strike is going to cover all the extra rules. It's going to cover tanks. It's going to cover planes, bombing, buildings, building construction, destroying buildings. It's going to cover upgrading your pilots. It's going to cover all more expanded terrain usage, stuff like that.
Nice.
You know, this is it's worth having this book for sure, just because of the extra stuff. And I didn't want to go too much into this book, but I could share some of the book itself. It is going to talk about how to build your forces. It's going to talk about what you want to put together, your units, so your lances, your stars, your configurations, stuff like that. This also does really nicely talk about how to use the website. And I wanted to talk about using the website because it's really like the best resource online you can get for either BattleTech or Alpha Strike.
Cool. So if you have
It's-
questions about that too,
Yep.
their website. Well, what's the name where you get the cards at?
That's the website I'm talking about. I'm trying to find the chapter real quick for it.
Okay, Clint's looking
It's,
at the book. For those of you who are, because we're broadcasting to a couple different
Yeah.
platforms, so
It'll only take me a second, so you're good.
for those of you that are stopping by, such as on TikTok, because we're also doing it to YouTube and to Twitch and to our Facebook group. If you guys could like it, we would appreciate it. If you got questions, ask. What this is just going to be as we're getting it going is kind of a walkthrough on how to play. So in a little bit, we'll do a demo too
Yep, I'll give
and
you guys
show
some
you,
quick overviews.
you know, how you're gonna play these guys against each other. And it's not really complicated, honestly. I like it.
No.
This chart that comes with it is just a quick reference chart, so it's pretty good, pretty easy to do. Oh, thank you for the follow. We will appreciate it. All right, we got a question. How will the cat be in English?
How will the cat be in English?
Yeah, that was from TikTok there.
What do you mean?
The Mad Cat, maybe? Is that what you're talking about? The Mad Cat?
Yeah, I guess you have to do.
Okay, so if you're asking about the mech, then what is it that you've got there, Clint? Do you have one of those? Right?
One what?
A Mad Cat.
That's the Mad
That's
Cat.
that one, right?
That's the Mad
Correct.
Cat / Timberwolf, and the other one's the Warhammer.
This is the Mad Cat. If that's what you're asking about there.
Yeah, I didn't know what you meant by will it be in English. Unless you're talking about the cards. Cards are always in English.
The cards are always in English as far as we know,
yeah, I've
So
not seen any
I'm
other
sorry about that, I
languages.
think. It's kind of the way it is. But this is a pretty badass little mech.
Oh, Keegan's being himself. Aw, how nice.
Yeah, he
Not
has.
that you've bothered to show up or anything, be supportive.
Keegan's out
Just
there on
comes out here and gyrates
Yeah.
around and
Yeah.
gets Mini
So,
Warmont all excited for no reason.
so as far as that goes, there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the chapter, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time.
Yeah,
looking for.
because
So the masterlist.info is the website for this, and it's going to let you literally make mechs for either BattleTech or Alpha Strike, and you just have to tell it BattleTech or Alpha Strike.
Mm.
It automatically includes cards for every single mech, every single variant, tank, plane, everything. And then it's also going to let you have sheets. It lets you modify the cards if you want to change skill sets, for example, with the cards or anything like that. So,
Well, that's cool there. Mini Warmont's all blah. So try to orientate this for the other camera. There we go.
oh yeah,
There's two cameras, so going to different platforms. So do you want the box come with more mechs than just the two though?
yeah.
right?
But most of the mechs are missing from this box because I've started painting them and using them. I mean,
So-
I can just move the lid real quick so you can just kind of see.
Yeah, we could take the box on the other
Take
side
the
or
lid
something.
out for a second. There's basically the box. With
Very cool.
some of the mechs are not in there, obviously, because I'm using them for my forces. I've already painted them.
And your terrain's underneath that box.
Train
that
is
you guys-
underneath. I'm going to move the
it
tray so you can
comes
see the
with
train
it.
because I need these dice. Give you an idea. I
Yeah.
guess I'll touch on
Got
terrain
those
real quick.
dice.
So
Yeah.
here is like the trees that come in this box set, which I wish I could get more of these little cardboard trees. And they just slide together and you've got trees. And the trees are used to define forest. So when you put 2 or 3 trees together, the area the trees connect or cover, if you draw an imaginary line, they basically create a small woods or a heavy woods or however you want to do it. Your buildings are all cardboard. They just fold. You just fold them and tuck them together and they make a building. They're really nice, simple terrain to use. It comes with a lot in this box set.
Look at how much it comes with though.
I mean,
you
this
literally can fill the table up
Yeah,
with
we
it.
can.
And
You get your usual tokens, your objective stuff.
yeah.
Your regular tokens, which I'll point out the tokens, but we don't actually use them. And I'll explain why later. That's actually something I learned from the online community about not using them. It also does cover it in the Commander's Edition, how to not use the tokens, but use the dice. And I'll explain that later. And it's, as we have played, even Greg will attest, it's kind of handy using the dice versus the tokens.
The dice is easier to keep track of what's
Yep.
going on. And so we did this, and thank you for showing up, you guys. We appreciate it. We're gonna show you how to play. Like a short little what's
Yeah.
the basics
Yeah,
of the
what's the
cards. Do you have
basics
one of
as I
the
go-
cards for them?
No, D has those.
Okay.
I just have the pilot cards and everything.
So
I do have the card for the fighter, which I could
just
use
as a sample, we
It'll
were
give you
waiting.
guys an idea.
We were waiting
It's-
for another person
Yeah.
to show up, and they're not here yet, and they happen to have a bunch of the
She
cards.
has the cards. I didn't grab any.
Yeah.
So this is for a fighter. This is the unique Kickstarter fighter, but it gives you kind of an idea what the cards look like.
Yeah, you got.
Once
Let me kind of show that.
once D's here, I'll go through the cards a little more specific. Not that there isn't a card in the book that we could use.
Yeah, the cards are nice because it marks off
It-
the damage that
Yep.
your mech takes. And if any of you guys played the old BattleTech, it took forever because it seemed like you had 100 points for each arm. I'm just exaggerating, but
yeah,
you know,
it is a little.
there was a
longer.
lot. It was designed to be realistic, though, right?
Yeah,
So
and that's one thing I love about BattleTech, but it does make the game a little longer for sure.
but these cards here, I've got. Sorry, you guys. One of you is going to see me holding up to another camera.
Yeah.
Because again, we're doing this to a couple different platforms at the same time.
Here we go.
But
This
here
will be
we
a
go.
bigger card. So I'm gonna just kind of tell you, can you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
you
that
can see
works.
that.
All right. So because I really can't see where everything on the card is, so I'm gonna use the screen here. This is gonna be your standard Alpha Strike card. No, obviously not this big, but still. The book is going to tell you how to break down the card, but I'll do it in a very simple manner. So you're always going to have the mech's name and the variant of the mech. You're always going to have its mech point cost. You're also going to have its size, which is 1 through 4. So it's going to be light, medium, heavy, or an assault. You're going to have your type, which in most cases for Alpha Strike, it's right now going to be battle mech, so BM, because we don't really have tanks or anything, although the
Tanks are coming.
the
now.
.info one does the .info one does have the tanks and the fighters as well. So you can certainly play it and the rules are there. The big thing you're going to want to look at is your movement. In this case, this one is showing as a movement of 12 with a J. J means it has the ability to jump. So we can jump or walk or run 12 inches. The big thing key is your TMM, so your target movement modifier number. That is basically how hard it is to hit the mech, and this can be modified by what you do, whether you walk, run, jump, stand still, whatever. Your skill level is going to be your pilot skill level. It's going to be your base number whenever you make anything or do anything.
Is that based off how much coffee you have?
No, unfortunately
Damn
not.
it.
So you've got your range for your weapons, short,
Okay.
medium, and long, and it does tell you 0 + 2 + 4. That's the penalty modifier for the range. I'll get into that. Number below it is the damage. Below that is its heat scale. So The overheat means you can add 1 point of heat to give yourself 1 point of damage to any attack, but you
Yeah.
mark up to a certain amount. If you get 4 heat, the mech shuts down. You got your damage modifiers. So the white boxes are the outer armor, the red boxes are the internal armor. Once you've gone into the red box, you will roll 2d6, consult the chart, and have a critical effect. So this is where the critical part comes in. Then you have your special equipment stuff. This one just shows energy. So it means it only has energy weapons, which means an ammo effect is completely ignored because there's no ammo.
It sounds really complicated, but really it's not.
It
When
is.
you roll the dice, it's like, okay, you look to what part
Yep.
of that, what to do, and that's it. It's
And
pretty
then
quick.
you
really.
get your picture of the mech. In this case, this mech is the Phoenix Hawk. Here is the Phoenix Hawk. It is actually in this box, but I don't have it with me because I painted it. So, but it does correspond with the miniature. So that is the card in a nutshell. Once you've actually figured out how to read the card, it takes no time at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's your best friend because it's also going to track your damage. It's going to tell you
Exactly.
when
what's
certain
up.
effects take place, and in some cases save your butt. For example, the examples of a case system, CASE, that's basically armor storage for your ammo. So if you take an ammo hit without a case, your mech goes boom.
Boom.
Yeah, go figure, ammo explodes. Unless you have energy weapons, then it does nothing.
Wait a minute. You can't smoke around the ammo. Is that
No,
why they
no,
always
you
said
shouldn't.
that?
Well-
Wow, man.
Yeah.
You'd be more worried about the guy with the lighter than the guy with this.
It's basically in regular BattleTech term, the case basically takes the hit. In Alpha Strike, it just means you pretty much ignore it. The quick start rules is going to touch base on a lot of the general special effects that mechs have and pilot effects. The Commander's Edition is going to expand that quite a bit.
I like the dice. Are cool.
Yeah, those are the Kickstarter dice from the Clan Invasion. Those are my Space Wolves dice.
Space Wolves, huh?
Yep, Space Wolves Clan.
There you go.
Or not
Whoa,
Space Wolves.
wait.
Oh my God.
There's
Clan Wolf.
There's
My gosh.
Mythos.
Yeah, never mind.
that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
that
see,
was funny,
do you
Mythos.
like that product plug I just put in there, Greg?
Yeah, there you go. So Mythos
Yeah.
from Frost and Fist there. Hello, sir. Well, this is going to be Alpha Strike how to, because we were asked, Mythos, to do a how to. So what Clint's doing is basically just kind of giving an overview, not really an unboxing, but just kind of the
Yep.
stuff that comes with it, because
And
you have to know what comes with it and what
Right.
to use. I mean, and then we'll do a little.
we're going to do a little
fight
skirmishy.
scenario.
Yeah, give you an idea.
So Alpha Strike for sure, but we'll do that. We did have somebody. Oh, where'd that go? Well, never mind there. There was some interesting names that coming on, so that's cool.
That's cool.
Oh, good morning, Charles, or afternoon or something. How are you, sir?
Think of Bobby. Yep.
It's good afternoon, I think.
Yeah. Now, Alpha Strike's going to play a little different from a lot of the other games. So we really do have to reorient our thinking every time we play this versus, say, Necromunda or something else.
Yeah,
Because
this
it does
is quick,
work a
though.
little different. So,
All righty. So we got
yep. So before we jump into that, take a look at Dee's box here. And I want to show you guys a couple things that she has.
Where do you want me?
Just have a seat.
you're good.
I just-
there you go. There's the box. So D showed up with the stuff.
Dee has the cool stuff that I can't
Oh.
figure out how to open the box.
Oh, while you're doing that,
Go ahead. If there's
Mythos
questions.
said, "Hey, you painted up a BattleTech mini. You'll post it in the Facebook group. Awesome, yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
post
cool.
it so we can see." Their Mythos, because you do a very good job painting anyway. So we want to see
You
what
open
you
this
got.
box? Yes, you have. Okay.
What do you?
Oh, no, I'm just showing. So this is one of the new mercenary packs that are out now.
I'm sorry, guys.
This is what $2 million worth of Kickstarter gets you. Stuff fought sooner than planned.
Go
Go ahead and do what you need to know. I'll explain that box.
So how many mechs are in here? Four.
4 in this one.
Because
Because it's an Intersphere mercenary company, in this case, Northwind Highlanders, which is what you guys were using when we played.
this is one of the ones I was.
These are the
using.
mechs you were using
No,
when
this
we
is the
played.
one D had, right? With
Right,
the
with
guy
the jump pack. Yep.
Yeah.
So these are going to be unique sculpts in some cases.
Can we take one out?
Yeah, I'll open the box in a minute.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I mean, they already know what it looks like. You were playing with them last week,
Yeah, but they
so
don't remember. Awesome. Coffee.
What I wanted to show with the box is what you get.
That's why we do the
This
coffee
is-
shop thing. They bring
Yeah.
us coffee.
So you get a really cool detailed box, which I found it easier to store other
Look
things
at
in it when
it's
you're done.
got like a painting on the back or something.
Yeah, it's got the little
So-
design on the rear there, and a lot of them will. You're gonna get in 4 or 5 mechs depending on the mech pack. Inner
There
Spear
we
are always
go.
going to be 4 mechs. Clan is going to be 5. Now these are the unique ones because this is the Northwind Highlanders box. So you will not get this mech, for example, in any other box set. It will only come in the Northwind Highlanders, and this one actually has multiple bases, so you can
That's-
change it.
I
It's
say
really
that-
cool. I do like the jump jet base. I got to agree with you on that one, D. It's really cool.
Turn it around.
Yeah, I'm gonna glue it.
It has the thrust from like it's jumping, and it's
Like
It's really cool.
exhaust or whatever.
This is the one that Greg was brutally beating me with last week.
Oh, the
The
Juggernaut one?
gunslinger. Yeah.
You know what though? Had I not hit you, Clint, the next round I would have died. I only had 3 points, and you were gonna do 6.
Yeah, but I was dead if I got hit.
so it was
So
very.
it was
It was just a.
whoops,
It's okay. They're plastic.
my bad.
They're good.
Hold on. I can't hold everything.
So it was.
I'm going to show you. So starter box Warhammer, unique box Warhammer. So your Warhammers and a few of the others are going to have alternate poses. So depending on how dynamic you want your mechs to look, sometimes just buying the clan boxes are cool just to get the alternate mechs, whether
Yeah.
you use the clan or not. So, okay, sorry, I'll put your mechs back.
There we go. Put it back in the box.
Please don't hurt me.
Is that a taser, D? No. Bzz.
Each box does come with the Alpha Strike cards. So while these box sets are actually for BattleTech, they do come with the cards and the pilot cards for Alpha Strike. So here is
So-
the Highlanders. And now this Highlander is going to be unique for this mercenary unit, which is why it's so BA. But most mech cards will have 2 mechs on it.
It's 2 versions.
It's
right?
2 versions because
Like
each
you could play.
each Mac is going to have multiple versions. That's where the website, again, I'm going to plug the website a lot, comes in. But so like this is a 732 version. And then on the back, you have the 740. This is what D was fielding.
Okay. I see that one
Yep.
for this camera here. So 2
By the
different
way,
versions.
If you're going to buy this
of
box
the
set,
Mac.
field the Gunslinger because it'll just slaughter things.
Somewhat.
Just saying. Somewhat? What do you mean somewhat? It killed 3 of my Macs. What do you mean? You killed 3 of them.
Oh, I don't.
Now, granted,
Right.
D wounded them all, but still.
Okay. So he's what
He
we call a
delivered the
finisher.
he actually lived up to his name.
And slung the guns. Yeah.
Yeah, especially doing 5 and 6
They-
damage.
Mythos says they are big and badass. Yes, they are.
So
They are actually really cool mechs.
do this.
This is a version, like I said, of BattleTech
Yeah.
100 times. I
this
like
is
this.
so much. Yeah, this is a skirmish and a lot faster. So with that, I can now thank you, D. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I wanted to touch on. Let's get into some of the play.
Okay, so we're gonna look at the
So,
play part now.
I'm gonna
You
go
guys
real
play.
quick, flash up the sequence of play because it is actually really simple. So you've got basically your initiative phase. The initiative phase happens every turn. Unlike some games where you just roll initiative and that's it. The initiative phase happens every turn. You get your movement phase, your combat phase, and then the end phase. Now, initiative works a little different than some of the other games. Everybody, each side rolls 2d6. The highest initiative goes last in this one. There's an advantage to you for that because then you can see what your opponent's doing. So if I
So,
roll,
Let's set something up between those two.
yeah.
Then.
So
Here's your.
here, D, you're going to take, even though the miniature doesn't quite match the card, you're going to take the card. Plain
Try
and
to keep
simple.
it in the camera view.
Yeah,
there.
we'll try to just
This is roughly how you're
Yep,
gonna play
all
the
right.
game.
grab 2d60.
Where is? Hold on a second, Clint.
All right. Yeah, we'll just move where you can see them.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not really going to move the miniatures, but we'll just get an idea of them.
Do we have an alternate?
Two-
Well, all you're doing is gonna So if these two
Nope.
are pitting
In
each
real life,
other,
you will.
Yes, in real life we will. Well, you're gonna,
In real life, you will need an ultra fine.
yeah,
Dry erase marker.
yes,
yes,
that's
not,
true.
So
not a
just
medium because of
as
that.
a-
Yeah, because the dots are extremely small, and so the ultrafine markers
You-
are. Yep.
You can write on these cards. That's the cool part. With a dry erase marker, you're
Hang
going to
on to
write
that,
on them.
yep.
And you can, keep track of your damage depending on which version you're using. So that's what the dry erase marker is for.
And you can
So
either use markers or you can pick up little dies
Mhm.
for
yeah,
markers for.
Yep,
Their
I'll explain that.
TMM.
Yep,
this
I
will just be
marked
kind
on
of
it.
a brief walkthrough.
Yep, so this will be a quick one.
Explain
Yep,
whoever has initiative, and then
roll 2d60.
this is how
I
you
got a
go about
9,
finding initiative.
D has an 8. So actually, I have initiative, which means D would get to go first.
And this is a little bit backwards
Yeah,
with others.
It is for a
because-
lot of the other games.
Yeah.
So because I have initiative and I act second, D gets to go first. D gets to move one of her mechs, whichever way she wants, whatever movement, up to its movement value. In this case,
And the movement
the
value.
gunslinger is going to have a movement value of 6
Okay.
and 4 jump. Because this is a size 4 mech, it's bigger. It can't jump as far as it can walk. So sometimes that stat will be split. So she would be able to move up to 6 inches, for example. In this case, doesn't really need to move, but
And sometimes it's the same number.
yeah, a lot of times it's the same
For
number,
walking is
just
something.
every now and then. Range for this is going to be a little different. So short range for this game is up to 6 inches. Right now, the mechs are at short range from each other. Medium range is 6 inches to 24 inches.
24.
And then long range is 24 inches to 42 inches. Beyond 42 inches is just you can't hit with the mechs. Now, planes and tanks are going to work a little different because you're going to have artillery units that shoot further than this table.
So one camera and then the other. So this first camera will show you. This is your short range. This is your medium range
Yep.
damage. And this is
Yep.
your long range damage. So if you do damage to the other mech, it's going to come off of these.
Yep.
So if you hit at medium range, you're going to do, 4 damage on their card. So that's what that's for.
All right.
So you.
So
there you
at this
go.
point, D would have a move. So she just move your mech a little bit. Yep. So D would make her movement.
And then my TMM
Yep.
then is 1. So
Yep.
whatever you decide to use as a marker, you mark the
In
TMM. so
Yep,
we know.
exactly. So as I showed you in the box, the tokens, there are tokens for that already, but it doesn't give you your number. It just says TMM, TMM +1,
Okay.
TMM negative. In the Commander's Edition, it recommends you use certain colored dice. So D's got a red one, a yellow one, and a black one. Just set them out here real quick, just to show. All right, so she walked her 6 inches. She'll put a white dice. That means she walked with the TMM. Your TMM is 1, right?
Yes.
So you'll put the pip of a 1. Let's say you ran.
if I
so
ran,
it's going to be your movement plus half. So you would move 9. You would put a yellow dice.
just the 1 though.
Yeah, you would just put the yellow dice instead of,
So
and you would
Instead of.
still be your TMM 1, for example.
But that shows how.
That shows that
fast
yet
I
you
moved or if I
ran. Yep.
jumped Or whatever.
It's the dice
Or-
are for a visual reference so that you know what you've done. Correct. I ran. once,
Right.
I
It shows
jumped.
that I ran. It shows,
It affects his calculations, so he needs to know what's on my card. So
Right.
that's a reference from what's on my card,
Yep.
so he can calculate what he needs to know.
the math is much easier this way. Now, let's say you jumped.
My jump is 4,
Okay. So let's say you jumped 4.
but
So-
it's a 1.
Yep. So you, well,
still, but
no, it's,
no.
so jump is at +1. It's TMM +1.
Okay.
So in this case, the red dice would indicate that you jumped and she would have a 2 instead of a 1. It's going to make it harder for me to hit her because she jumped. It's also going to make it a little harder for her to hit, but it still indicates, at least we know now that mech jumped. We're going to have to do the math a little different. This game is all about math. Sorry, but it is.
But it's simple math, just
Simple
second,
math.
Because on,
Add and subtract.
yep, so on YouTube, they asked, can you play like 15 versus 15?
Oh, yeah.
versus battle? Well, yeah.
Dude, you could go
You
much
could-
bigger than
you could
that.
play as much as you want. This is just a walkthrough. That's the
Mhm.
only reason.
However many
Why?
you can keep track of.
A standard unit. So if you're doing, for example, an small intersphere company, you're looking at 4 mechs per lance. So you could be doing anywhere from 12 to 20 mechs. If
Okay.
you're doing clan, then you're looking at 15 to 25 mechs because clan uses a little more. But there are people who will bury this table and
Well, yeah.
do an all-day battle. And doing that in regular BattleTech terms
Would
is
be-
more like a weekend. Doing it in Alpha Strike, probably 2,
Couple
3 hours. I mean, we were doing 4 versus 4, and we were still done within like 50 minutes.
Yeah, so that would give you an idea. If you had 8 of them, figure about an hour.
Yeah,
Roughly.
roughly. Yep.
Which is why you want to mark your mechs.
Yes, this is
at-
where
to
the
know
dice are.
what moved and
Yes.
what
How
your
it did.
TMM is.
Exactly.
Then the final one for movement is if it stood still, we put a black dice on it. If you stand still, one, you have no penalties to shoot. However, it is easier for the target to hit you, and it becomes a -4.
But we colored in.
Yeah, so we filled in the pips because there's no number. It just needs to indicate that you didn't move.
Right.
And it is just a -4. So when I'm attacking, I subtract 4 from my shooting roll.
Okay.
She gets a bonus of -1 to her roll, and I'll explain that in a minute when we play.
And is there a rule about what no movement is? About whether you can turn or
So,
can you move like?
I'm glad you said that.
A minute amount.
so if you move less than half an inch, i.e., you correct the mech to fit behind a building, or you just rotate in place, that is considered standing still. If you move more than half an inch, it's considered at the very least, a movement
Because yeah, all right.
because the
So-
mech moved. Now, if I were going to do my move, for example, then I would put my TMM, which is a 1. You know what? I'm going to say I jumped.
Yeah, because jumping affects what you do a little.
And the reason it matters if you turn is because you have to turn if
Facing.
you're out of
Yeah.
range. Because
Well, it's facing.
it's
and-
here or these front 3, right?
Nope. I'll show you. No, I'll show you.
Okay, how does it work?
So facing is important.
Oh, the tape measure's coming out.
This along the back of the base.
And this is my mini.
Yep.
I have a
So-
little pocket one.
This is front. This is rear. If my mech is back here, I can shoot her in the back, but she can't turn around and shoot me
Because,
because I'm in the rear arc and she's not capable of shooting in her rear arc.
yeah,
So that's a good thing to note. And sometimes you could be like here or you're just here. Now, if you're just here, it is past the back arc, so she can turn and shoot me.
so your moves consist of you take initiative, then you move.
Yep.
And
But you take turns alternating movement. So she moved,
then you would move.
then I moved my mech, then she'll move her mech, then I'll move my mech until we're out of moves.
Tell you how to move.
If it ends up where she only has 2 mechs and I have 3, I will just basically have an extra move.
All right.
Because I won the initiative, Deke gets to shoot first.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yep. So in this
Initiatives
case-
are slightly backwards.
this is
Thank
where,
you for the likes, you guys. If you like it, we appreciate it.
now we are doing this clear of terrain, so there's nothing interfering. So there's going to be no terrain penalties. So
Yeah.
they have this really cool little thing called Seder in there that tells you how to do your attacks, and it goes step by step. Now I'm not going to follow step by step on the card on the camera, but I'll explain it as we go.
Is
It's
this whole thing called?
no, just this little section that says Seder.
Let me see.
Take it because
Oh, SATOR. It's an acronym.
yes, it is exactly.
Okay, good.
So the nice thing about the acronym is, one, it's very easy to remember, but it is a lot of math. So the first thing you're going to have is your skill number. Now remember, it said on the card there was a skill. Everybody has a piloting skill basically. So it's right here on the card. Right here on the card.
Mhm.
On average, if you're playing a standard game,
It's what 1 second show
It's-
the other.
it's
camera.
4. So on average,
Oh, right
it's
here,
the
the
skill
skill.
is 4. You can pay extra points to reduce that, change it, whatever. But for the most part, it's 4.
That's why it's a blank.
So that's why
Because
it's blank, because you can
adjusts.
fill it
So
in.
you can
Yep.
change it, okay.
Now, if you're
Very good.
using the master list, it'll automatically default it to 4, but you can edit the card to change that number.
Hold on just a second. Got a question there.
Yep.
Can you order an air assault?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes,
However,
you can, and that's at the end of the turn. It is covered in the core book is also covered in the Commander's Edition, but you can certainly order an airstrike. That's a little more advanced rules, and that really does change the dynamic of the battle. We haven't done that yet. We will at some point.
Do you own the plane?
No, in the starter box. Good question. That's what these cards are for. These cards that I showed them cards in the beginning. So these are your airstrikes and other things done in card form. Eventually, like I showed you the miniature for the plane, that will apply once you use the planes. You have the same plane you got from the Kickstarter. I was just kind of showing it.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so
all right. So
you
combat.
moved.
So D.
I don't think I got a plane. I think you ordered more.
that's
So
okay.
D is going to have a base skill of 4 in this case because that's the standard. All right, so if we're looking at Seder, it starts with skills. Then you have an attack modifier. The attack modifier is what did you do with your mech? In her case, she walked.
So it didn't do anything.
In this
yeah.
case, so it's a 0. I'll put it's a 0 because she walked.
Gotcha.
Get it where you can see it. So she has, so far, she's at a 4. Then you take into my movement. In this case, I jumped. So it's my targeting modifier +1. So that's a 2. Now that's her 4 plus 2 makes a 6. We have no woods or partial cover right now because there's no terrain intervening.
Nothing to block.
So nothing to add there. There is no critical damage to the mechs that affects any of those systems. Stealth is not used a lot, but some mechs have stealth. Hers doesn't in this case, so no worry. Then the only thing you look at is range. Because we are in short range, it is a 0 modifier, which means in order for D to hit me, she would need a 6. So she would roll 2d6, needing a 6 or better. So just roll 2d60. All right. So she got a 7.
She needed a.
She
6.
hits. She needed, so she's going to hit. What's your short range damage on that mech? It's going to hurt.
5.
5. So I will mark off 5
So that
dots of damage.
and it'll tell you on that part of the card, short, medium, long
Mhm.
range, of what your
So-
weapon does against the enemy. So-
Now, unlike movement where we went back and forth, D shoots with all her mechs. And then once D's done shooting, then I can shoot back.
So in this case, it was just one. She shot. She did 5 points.
She
of
does 5
damage.
points. Yep.
Now you could shoot back at her.
Yep. I'm going to shoot back at her.
And you're
So
gonna,
I'm going to have my base skill of 4.
Yep.
I jumped. Now, because I jumped, that adds 2 to my score. So now I'm at a 6. Now I know my team amendment says 2. That doesn't apply in this case. I just have a 2 penalty because I jumped. D only has a 1 for her movement, so I'm going to add that. So that makes me a 7. We are still at short range because there's no other modifiers, cover, or anything like that. So I'm going to need a 7 to shoot back at her.
you got a 7
I got a
on
7.
the nose.
So D would take 3 points of damage from my.
Which
Gun.
means this is where the marker.
Yep, that's where the little
Comes into
markers come
play.
in. So she would mark off the 3.
So
So this
Don't
is
wanna
where you
know
need.
where.
Yep.
This is where you need the markers.
tell me if I'm in.
So you're.
Can you see
yeah.
it?
Yeah. See how those were marked off.
Where
Yeah.
I marked in blue.
Yep. So
And eventually it'll go into the red,
yep,
and that's critical.
So let's just say D has done enough damage now for me to go into red. So now I've got the card marked. I don't know where you put it on that phone, but
No, yeah,
card is now
you can see
marked.
it.
So I've marked one of the red dots. There's a chart on here now that I have to consult called a critical hit chart. And what it does is you roll 2d6 to determine.
So yours is a
Oh,
2.
God.
Oh, geez. So you go off the chart.
Really?
Ammo hit
What'd
effect.
you do?
I rolled an ammo effect. Okay, so before I was talking about a case, had I not had a case on this mech, my mech would have blown up and that would have been it. It would be dead.
So
It would have gone boom,
is
done,
the case
gone.
like extra armor?
So the case
or
is-
it hardened something?
So
or-
the basic description of a case is your ammo is in an ammo box, and when you take an ammo hit, it blows out the back of the box out of the mech. So you're going to get a big fireball come out of the back of the mech, and in BattleTech terms, that ammo is gone. So whatever weapon needed that ammo now no longer functions. But your mech didn't go boom. Now in BattleTech, if it went boom, and if it was like in an arm or torso, it would have blown the arm off or whatever. It wouldn't have destroyed the mech. In Alpha Strike, the mech is gone.
So
So that
you're
would have,
lucky that one did
Yes,
not have.
because it had case, I would not have blown up and been dead. Had I not had that case, that mech is gone. Now, thing to note with this, if this was Dee's first shooting and I had not shot yet, and she fires and destroys my mech, I don't remove the mech yet.
Because you
I get a chance to shoot back until the round is done and I've fired with all my mechs. Then the mechs that were destroyed can be removed. If we had rolled a different critical effect, you would mark the critical hit box and it would tell you maybe you're building up 1 point of heat every time you fire weapons. That's bad because after 4, that shuts down. So you basically, to lose heat, you don't do anything. You stand still and it will dump your
Okay.
heat.
Okay. But that's not necessarily good either.
That's not necessarily good because you're basically stationary for a turn, which makes you a very easy target. The fire control system makes it adds to your dice roll. So if I had had a fire control damage on my 7, I would have needed a 9. At some point, you could get higher than you can roll to attack. Movement point, every time you take a movement damage, it halves your movement down to 1. So you would have a minimum of 1 movement. And then if the weapons are damaged, it's -1 damage per weapon. In some cases, it could be really detrimental.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it could help.
No, for the most part, with critical hits, you will almost never get your critical boxes filled before the mech is just plain destroyed. A lot of times, most mechs will only have 3, 4 critical
Yeah,
slots.
because your critical
And-
slots. This one has a lot though.
That one has a lot, but look at these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
She only has 5.
6, 7. This has 7 slots.
And she
in the
only has
critical.
5 on hers.
And the one I played with the original box, I think I had 3.
Yeah.
Like so, some
So
of them don't.
your internal
have
structure,
a lot.
that's your internal armor. Sometimes don't have a lot of internal armor.
Cool. Mini Warmut says he's almost home. He got his coffee.
Well, that's good. Coffee's
You
good.
was you were on the board longer than I was, though. Somehow I got killed first.
I was asked on YouTube there, what about any self-destruct options?
Nope.
Ha, ha, ha.
No,
No, the game doesn't allow you to
don't go boom.
Oh.
self-destruct. I quit.
Well, that just
would be
means
funny.
you put yourself out
Yeah.
there, to get a
Yeah.
to
I
to
mean,
be assassin,
you're
which is what I probably did
Although-
last game.
If you could imagine Keegan trapped inside of one of these, he'd probably pass himself out. So,
yeah. Now cover is,
Yeah, but he hides all the time. He hides in corners.
as long as 50%
myself out
of a mech is visible, they
Yeah,
get a
you-
cover bonus. If more than 50% of the mech is hidden, you can't shoot it. You just can't see it. You can't attack it.
So that's kind of how it
If
works.
50%
As
or
the dice
more is
an
exposed,
example.
You can shoot at it, but it is going to be a +1 for your
Oh,
attack
so you're gonna
because
have
of a
to-
cover bonus.
Okay.
And that doesn't matter if you're right next to the cover or you're clear back here. If when I look down this line of sight and this blocks me at least 50% of the mech, I get the cover bonus.
Nice. That works.
So
That works. So you gotta think too, just like any other game, because this, for those of you just coming in, like especially on TikTok, there's people coming in and out. There's a lot of cover,
There is a lot of
in that
terrain, yeah.
box. So you need to take advantage of the terrain to help
So-
kind of.
for example, forest, if you're within the confines of the forest, if you are more than 6 inches away from the border of the forest, real or imaginary, however you do it, you cannot be seen. So they can't shoot at you unless they're less than 6 inches. You also get a +1 cover penalty bonus for being in the woods if they're shooting from out of the woods. Now, if they are in the woods shooting you in the woods, then there's no bonus.
So it's just like all the other games in the sense
Yeah.
that you want to take advantage of whatever kind of cover you have to get your mechs
Yeah, for
behind
sure.
and to what you got there? I'll put your dice.
Yeah, I
in.
just put my dice because I like these dice. I don't want to lose them.
Did you want to show any of your mechs off there, D? You have a whole box.
Yeah, she's got a bunch with
We
her.
could show you guys.
Yeah,
some.
she can show off her max.
If she
Some
wants
of
to.
these may have
Are
just come
these
out
yours,
of the
Clint?
plan, I don't know.
Those are from my box set. I'm going to move these out of the way.
But these
But-
wipe off with your finger
Yeah.
or with,
Yep. dry
Yeah,
ice.
the cards are nice. You can see
they're nice
what's-
and clean already.
see
and
what
I
we
just
have
use my
hidden
finger.
there behind
Yeah,
is
I'm just
Clint's
moving.
coffee there.
Is this off yours? I think this is off of yours.
Yeah, it fell out, remember?
Okay.
More mechs there.
Yeah, some mechs that come with the starter and
Well, this,
That's a big
this
one.
is the base, this is
Yes.
the alternate
Yep.
base.
This one, Mita, she would
So-
like. I know you're still watching Mitos on YouTube there, so
yeah, and her other mech unit, mercenary units have unique based mechs as well. Every one of the mercenary units has at least one unique based mech.
hold on, we'll show you guys if she wants to once she gets it put together.
Yeah, I kind of like that they did that. That's really kind of cool.
Yeah, so you have options with the one she's trying to put together. Different bases, right?
Yep.
D?
Yeah, it just only goes together one way and
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little tricky sometimes, but
So what you do is,
so,
if that's all it does, are you gonna figure out if you want this one on a base and glue him down so you don't gotta?
it doesn't affect his scores,
it
right?
has no change of how it plays. It just how cool do you want the miniature to look?
So,
Yeah.
or do you want him taller or something?
Yeah,
This is
I
Just
like
a
the
little
jump,
taller.
to be
I like
honest.
that.
I think that's more dynamic, especially painted up.
Oh,
Highlander.
this is the part that goes on the back, right?
Yeah.
The Highlander.
Yeah, so it
Uh,
and that just clips into the little vents in the back.
Yeah,
so it looks
that's
like
cool.
he's jumping.
It looks like he's jumping. That's what I'm saying. I think I would just take the one I want and then
Yeah.
glue it
And you
together.
glue it.
Once
Glue
you
it, yeah.
painted it,
'Cause
I would.
otherwise
yeah.
it comes apart.
I would paint it though. I'd want to paint it because
Oh yeah, for
it
sure.
would look pretty badass.
And actually, painting the smoke trails and stuff is not
Yeah.
too hard. But yeah, it does look really cool. I mean, it's almost worth buying the box set just for the alternate sculpt stuff.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
'Cause,
you're not going to get it otherwise, right?
Like I showed with the Warhammer, there's 2 different poses for the Warhammer. There's actually 3 total poses for the Warhammer out there.
So when you play a lot of different games and you have to maybe grab and go, I decided to get a bunch of these boxes.
Yeah, it's a good
And-
idea.
Bunch of tape measures
So
to go with them. But so that's why I got all these little mini tape measures that are
Yeah.
keychains. And I've got one per box.
Yep. she's got a lot of
Ooh,
claim
And
man.
then
and stuff.
I have a bunch
Yeah.
of dice. These are my
They're-
other glasses.
Mhm.
But I've got, that's the gladiator
Yep.
/ exterminator.
Yep. So you'll find that clan mechs have 2 names. And there's a reason for that.
There is.
This
Yep.
is I wrote it on the bottom.
That's the dire wolf.
Direwolf Dashi.
So when the clans
Dang.
invaded the inner sphere, the defending forces of the inner sphere had no clue what the mechs were. So they named them.
Warhawk.
Many Warmite says need to have an option to have 6 or 7 mechs form into one, kind of like Voltron.
No.
Clint's all no.
No.
Shadow.
Considering
Cat.
a lot of these mechs are 100 tons each. No,
Well-
they don't. It doesn't work like that,
This is a
unfortunately.
big one. Kodiak.
Yeah,
Kodiak.
that's a
He's a big army dude. But I mind, yeah, then you'd be looking at Transformers.
yeah.
Which is a
there's-
different thing.
It doesn't work like that. The nice thing is once you start
Thor or Summoner.
Nice.
getting tanks and planes into all this, and by planes I mean VTOLs, so helicopters and everything else, you can do quite a bit.
Mad Dog or Vulture.
Yeah, I love the Vulture.
Okay, what's it say? Stone,
Stone Rhino or
Rhino
Behemoth.
or Behemoth.
Yeah.
That's
That's
pretty,
one of my
pretty
favorite.
dang big.
Yeah.
That's one of
Yeah.
my favorites too.
Which
That's
is
gonna do
what?
some damage, ain't it?
It surprisingly doesn't.
Oh, it looks like it would do a
Now,
hell
the
of a
one
lot
I
of
have
damage.
for BattleTech does. It
Um,
also runs out of ammo after 3 turns.
So we have another question
Yes.
there.
Yep.
Do any of the mechs have a flying option?
Yeah, the ones with a lot of them have jump jets, and it'll say on the card whether they can jump. They don't really fly so much as they just thrust and jump from place to
They
place.
jump around.
But there's no limit on their height per se. So they can
kind of
jump
like
on
a
top.
turkey. Turkeys really don't fly, but boy, they can get up, move about 100
Yeah.
yards in the air and come down.
So
Useless. fact,
Adder
by the
or
way.
puma.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Couple more. Grendel or mongrel. Whoops, wrong way.
Wow. Yeah. So it just depends on what mech you want to use, what
The
you're
Mad
gonna
Cat.
do.
Mad cat or timber wolf.
The Mad Cat's kind of cool too.
Mhm.
He's got a lot of rockets he can
yeah,
use.
man cats are pretty
Yep.
pretty
So
nasty.
that was it.
I was fielding one in our
Well,
battle
other
last
than
week.
these, but
Yeah.
these are the
Those
ones we
are
used
cool.
last time.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I'm not sure which ones are which at this moment.
Well,
well, we've already showed them. So
We did. Yeah.
Yeah. So box sets wise, each mech pack is very reasonably priced. The most expensive mech pack is $34, and that's got 5 mechs in it. Most of them are anywhere from 24 to 29, and that gives you either 4 or 5 mechs depending on what you're using, what size is going to matter, what configuration, because they're all going to be set into stars or lances, so that you can buy one that's already set up and ready to go, and you don't have to change anything. I wasn't going to really touch on unit configuration for this because that gets confusing. The rules
Yeah.
do a good job of telling you how to build your units, but each box comes in like that is the Northwind Highlanders command lance. So those are all her command mechs in that lance, and there's 4 of them because it's in her sphere. So it just kind of depends. If you want to just throw down quick, you grab a box and just use what's there, and you're ready to play. End of story. So really, if you bought this, it's already got a bunch of mechs. You can get going. If you want to add more, you start buying these little boxes.
okay.
And there are,
Or you do Kickstarters.
well, yeah, the
Whatever is
Mercenary
left.
Kickstarter, I highly, strongly suggest if you can afford it to get in on that one that's starting at the end of the month. Because that is going to give you tanks, VTOLs, planes, as well as more mechs. It is
As well as
very
more
much
mechs.
worth.
Go ahead. I'm just letting people see
I
who we
know.
are.
I'm just being silly.
There's D.
I did not remember that you
But-
had a plane from
There's me.
Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I did not remember that at all.
Because I didn't expect it, just showed up. Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't on the Kickstarter list. It just showed up last minute. It was something that they added last minute to Kickstarter.
Did it come in your big box?
So
You know, it came in my second wave 2
Couple-
box.
couple
Oh, so
of
that's why I
That didn't come in
see
the big
it.
box.
couple questions.
Mhm.
Can you use Monster Apocalypse buildings for the mech battles? Are they the same?
That we
size?
did discover they were actually, because D has
Really?
the new set for Monster Apocalypse, so the building is actually the same size. So yeah, you actually can.
All right, there you go.
I find it
or,
funny someone brought up Monster
or for the
Apocalypse
Team
too.
Yankee stuff. So
The Teen Yankee stuff is not the right scale.
And the scale on this, because many more
Yeah.
asks, it's not 6mm scale
No,
for infantry or
So
tanks,
BattleTech is Z scale in model railroading.
which is equivalent to not quite. It's not 15 and it's not
No,
20.
it's
What would it
like
maybe
no,
be like?
it's I want to say it's not quite 10.
Yeah,
It's an odd,
It's odd.
but the N scale railroad stuff is just a little off. Z scale is smaller than N scale by just a hair, but good luck finding Z scale stuff. So yeah, there's not a lot. Really, the best way for terrain for this is 3D printed stuff. Look on eBay, look on Etsy, look on everything else. Now there are a lot of 3D printed mechs, tanks, and everything on eBay. And as Greg has found out with one tank you bought, but even the mechs I got, the one mech I was using, that one little one that I moved incorrectly, that you were fighting,
Okay.
that was a 3D printed mech off of eBay.
Oh,
You
well,
couldn't
wouldn't
even
know.
tell.
I wouldn't.
Nope,
know.
you couldn't even tell.
Well, it's
painted.
kind of like with my Russian
Yeah,
T64. I
Yeah,
moved
it's
it
just-
out so you guys could blow it up, and you're like, "That's printed."
that's the 3D printed one. Yeah, I mean, it just
Didn't
once
know.
you paint it, you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So you can buy mechs off of eBay relatively cheap, and they're good.
see
you
for
know?
me, I might want to buy a box like what
I think
were
you
showing,
should.
because I would get the cards and get a set. I
Yep.
don't need all this other because you
No.
already got all
Yeah,
that.
you just need something.
But if I had something we were going to play, okay, I've got a couple mechs and
Yep.
cards, and I don't need.
Then it's just a matter of are you doing Intersphere or are you doing clan, because that changes how many mechs you get in the box.
Yeah.
You either get 4 or 5 depending on your configuration.
And if we go bigger, we can all share.
Yeah, well, I have plenty of clan stuff that I'm not currently using, but I will be eventually. So
There we
I'm
go.
just working on my mercenary unit for right now.
There, Clint. Yay! He's smiling. This was us behind the camera
Yep.
in our little setup here.
Yeah. In our coffee shop and
And look, there's a window out there. We
yeah,
could
with a
watch
lot of
cars go
traffic
by.
and
There's
ambulances and homeless people wandering past.
D.
And
Homeless people.
man, we already missed. There were already 2 of them that
Oh,
went by.
yeah, out the window.
That's
is
where
some
you found
interesting
me.
stuff, you guys.
I was just wandering by one day,
Yeah.
pushing my cart.
Yeah.
Pushing your cart full of Kickstarter stuff. And that's when Clint said,
Yeah,
hey,
Clint said,
let's roll
"Bring
her
those
out there
things
and
in
take her
here.
stuff."
We need some of her stuff.
it's too expensive to have. Right?
Yeah.
I
Clint's
found them in
laughing.
a garbage bag
Yeah.
somewhere, behind.
So
Could you imagine that? That'd be
no, I
terrible.
don't even want to try to mention that.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Um,
generally, like for those that buy in the box,
So-
I mean
Somebody's wife threw them out one day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
don't scrapped them.
That happens
yeah.
with- that happened with $1,000 comics over the decades. You know, I mean, the issues of Superman #1 got thrown out.
Mhm.
all I know is years ago, I happened to be
By
looking
people you-
at an ad and I saw a Porsche and I seen it listed for $50. And I thought, this is a joke. It was in a thing. So I called the lady. She was angry they're getting divorced. She sold her husband's Porsche, $50. He told her to sell the cars, so she did. And when I called, it had already sold.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a joke.
My precious
Yeah.
mother was not mad at me. However, I did not clean my room appropriately. And let's just say that Goodwill got all of my Star Trek
Yeah.
stuff when I
Ooh.
was
Yeah,
about
that's
That's
worth
not
a
good.
lot of money
12 or
now.
13. So,
Yeah.
she wasn't mad. She just thought that I had better things
That
to
is
do.
not the worst thing a parent could do to a child in that realm.
Well, I wasn't, let's just say that I made my opinion known.
Yeah.
And I must not have touched it for a while because I probably didn't notice it immediately.
Yeah.
But
That's not as bad.
I
So-
was not happy.
So Minnie Warmott says he might look into the mech stuff. I would say, Minnie Warmott, with
Yeah.
you looking into it, you'll probably have like exploding crates, but then things would come out. Do you know what I mean? Like rabbits with axes and stuff. I mean,
I think if
Yeah.
Vinny Warmott got into it, one, we could definitely do an online game with him.
yeah, you could
Easily.
do online with this because you got terrain we could
Yeah.
work with too.
Yep. So if he
So
had
that's
basically,
our-
he had at least, at this point, he could
Our
just go to
people
the
on
masterlist.info site and look
Yeah.
through all the mechs. Because really all he would need is the cards. And he could just manage the cards.
He's all, don't be a pusher, Greg. No, you're the one that pushed the plastic addict thing. So
We're
it's
all
my
plastic addicts, but
yeah. And you know what? We don't hide about it. We openly go to coffee shops and do our thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but they can't exactly see in because there's
Clint,
that
tell him
film stuff.
we have no plans on
Reflective
recovering
film stuff.
from this addiction.
No. Oh, we do.
Right,
I mean,
Steve?
there is the ultimate plan for recovering from it, but that's death. So we'll get there eventually.
Well, but
But then we won't care at that point.
no, I can see you. I can get a
I will
static
be-
phone call. Who is this? Clint, I found a way to call from the other side. And there's a way to UPS my shit. Get it over here. All right.
I
Well,
figured.
Greg wasn't into gaming, were you? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
other than video games, I mean.
Nope, I was in the miniatures a long time
Oh,
ago.
you
I kind of took a
were.
break. Yep. and
Oh.
did
Yeah,
video
where
games, and I didn't
I
have
have
anyone to
been-
play with.
I just remember
Yeah.
him showing
I
and putting this little tank on your desk and these rocks.
Well,
And I was like thinking,
and that's why I
that
brought
looks
some of my stuff.
interesting.
Yep.
And eventually I started asking questions.
That's why Clint put it there, to see if people would notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
fun like that.
Well, I did.
And I've been
Did
playing
you?
BattleTech since '86. It came out in '85,
You get-
late '84, early '85.
Wait, Mini Warmut says we get funny looks from everyone we meet. Hey, we're the gamers of coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
I'm gonna
almost
make sure
like-
that doesn't get stuck in my head.
Thanks, Mini Warmut.
Oh, yeah.
He tried, but it
The
ain't gonna
sun
happen.
now.
You could be driving the Kia.
Well, that reference would be lost to everybody online.
At that point,
Thank God.
all it takes is a little taste and they're hooked. Yes, you are correct. The only thing I don't like about this software is that it'll say
Yeah.
Facebook user unless you register your name with Restream. So I got to keep putting that link in there. So whoever said that on Facebook, yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
A little taste.
And I started BattleTech with the cardboard standees.
You did?
Yep, because the original BattleTech because BattleTech has the hex maps. That's how you move around on BattleTech map.
Oh,
You don't have the open table and the tape measure. And it came with cardboard standees. So you had the little clips and then the little two-dimensional max
two-dimensional
just
mix.
were a picture. So,
So I.
Oh,
what
it's
I
Brian.
did,
Oh, it's Brian from Weird World War II.
Yeah.
All right, Brian.
that makes sense.
See-
I watched
Go ahead, Dee.
a YouTube of somebody playing tanks or Team Yankee or something, and I remember texting you, Clint, and said, "Are you one of those people that uses tape measures to play?" and
Anyway.
because that was how
Yeah.
and I said that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
And
sense.
I think that's where you got me hooked.
I still like, I'd say it, but I still like GW's little sticks. The little measuring sticks they had were actually kind of
Mhm.
brilliant.
Hey, Brian, see that link I just posted? Sorry to interrupt you guys. Hit that and give it permission. So next time it'll show as you. So that way when you're talking, people will know it's you. They have to do that. Facebook demands that
Yeah.
it doesn't
'Cause
want to
they
share its users.
Think,
It's all money.
they think they need to control everything.
They do. So there you go, Brian.
And we
Is there
let
a
them.
show later today? Yes, I will put the show on later today, Mini Warmut. This one, people asked us how to play.
Yeah. So I wanted to
So-
touch base on that. I mean, it's not an extensive how to play. It's not organized rules, but it's a good overview. So
Yeah, that's all you needed was here's why you got the chart.
here's
this.
this and this.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
that
we-
box set's going to cover everything you need to play.
That's what we
And
were
then you
trying to
can
do,
advance it from there. And I think we haven't really touched on a lot of the advanced stuff yet, but partially because with the tanks and everything, I was waiting for the mercenary Kickstarter before we really got heavy into it. But I think we'll start messing with some of the tanks here eventually.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna mess with the tanks on.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Sorry, I was just trying
Me
to
too.
read. So they were asking, are you 2 hours ahead of us? He's in Arizona, so
I don't know if he's 1 or 2 hours ahead.
it's
I don't know
it's
what happens with
1:10
daylight time.
here.
Yeah.
It's 1:10 here, our time, Mini Warmut. So
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know what time is it there for you. We're in Iowa.
Yeah. So it's hard to say.
It depends on how
I don't-
tall the corn
the-
grows, if you can see the sun accurately or not for our sundials.
Yeah.
Way out
There we
here.
go.
Yep. I think. How'd you like my little post to
That-
Keegan the other day in the
Yeah.
group?
That was funny. Yeah.
Keegan just we're 2 hours ahead.
Wow.
That's
So your
11.
weekend's almost
Oh,
over.
wow. Is all of Arizona in the same time zone?
No, I think they're the ones that
That's-
split, except for the one area that
And
refuses
Indiana.
to. One of them
Indiana,
refuses
too.
to change. They just can't be like the rest of us. They got to be different.
Brian
Well, I want to be
says,
different. I don't want to change either.
Brian says, it feels more like robot gladiators.
Yeah, yes and no. I get that, but when you start running, multiple mechs, different configurations, different weapons, different range. I've got a complete lance that's nothing but long range missile mechs, and they're a backup support unit. So I see what you're saying. When it is 1 or 2 mechs versus 1 or 2 mechs, it does feel Robo Gladiator for sure. When you start adding more, even on the BattleTech side of it, no, it gets to be full on. But yeah, definitely adding the tanks and everything. VTOL's really changed the battlefield. Plus, you've got the elemental suits, which we really haven't even touched on. Those things will dismantle mechs. In BattleTech, they're brutal. Their guns only do 5 points of damage, but it's 5 points of damage to where this thing is clinging to your mech constantly. And if you can't get it off of there, it keeps going, and it can just chew your head right off. Literally, they'll use their lasers to cut the pilot right out of the mech while he's walking. So when the novels, when it first came out with those elementals, they were literally extracting the pilot in the middle of battle. There 5 of them would swarm it and just tear the mech apart, pull the pilot out, and then kill him with a small laser.
Yeah,
By the way, a small laser is meant to take against tanks and mechs, vehicles, not humans. You take machine guns to try to deal with infantry and other people. You don't use small lasers for that.
yeah,
A human handles 1 point of damage, and a small laser does 5 points of damage. So it's overkill.
So we'll have to see how that works when they add the tanks and all this other stuff. Because
Well,
they're going to make
we have the rules for tanks. That's what's in the Commander's Edition.
of a military.
You know,
kind of
that's
thing.
already there. So we can use tanks now. You can get the miniatures. You can buy the metal ones from Ironwind Metals. But I want to see the plastic stuff. There's also a lot of really cool 3D printed tanks on eBay right now. I've been thinking about buying some.
Yeah,
So
they're.
You could.
Oh, thanks for
but
the follow. We appreciate that.
I have a feeling with
Ask questions if you want.
with mercenaries, it's going to tweak the rules a little bit too.
Yeah,
You're definitely going to have some unique stuff.
Well, this is expanding to me, but it's going to be bigger battles, but quick, bigger battles.
Yeah.
Not entanglements. Like we like Warhammer, but we don't have 12 hours to play.
Yeah.
An Armageddon scenario kind of thing. So that's why I like Kill
yeah.
Team, because it was quick. It was 4 rounds. You were pretty much done in under an hour. You just weren't going to sit there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we still did a live battle. Like I said, we did 4 versus 4, and it was still 50 minutes roughly. You know, we could easily run 8 mechs each person, and it would still go within an hour's time frame and be a really nice laid out battle, because you could start getting some serious strategy with multiple mechs with multiple roles. You know, having a whole unit of missile boats that just sits in the back and fires missiles at everybody, because they don't even need to see. They just shoot.
They don't need to see. They just shoot.
Now, granted, they don't do as much damage, but when you get that Commander's Edition with all the extra warheads for the missiles, it can get deadly fast.
I thought it would have been interesting to have both sides have an objective, but I understand sometimes that doesn't happen.
That
doesn't happen in
scenario,
real life
that scenario was a
anyway,
standard
but-
defense. You guys were
Yeah.
defending the facility, and that was that.
Yeah.
It
Right.
did not work well for me. You guys did succeed, although you took quite a bit of damage.
Well,
And
'cause
we
you-
were running.
Because you had 3 different facilities to attack.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were. It was also we were running mostly size 4. We were running
Mhm.
big max against big max. You guys had the advantage of better skill because you were an established mercenary company, where I was running mine with standard, with the
Yes,
exception of my leader.
a second. So, yes, mini warm up. The show is 4 p.m. Central. And so, for you guys on TikTok, if you want to join us, we're going to do a show 4 p.m. Central on YouTube in our Facebook group. There you go, Brian. We're in World War II. The other Brian is saying, hey, go ahead, Clint.
He's saying, "Hey, go ahead, Clint."
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Cool.
do what you want to do. No, I'm just saying. Smart ass.
I try.
Yes, it was 2 p.m. your time. Do you want to do a Zombicide game?
Yeah. I don't know what that is. Sorry.
Do you know what that is, Clint?
No.
One day we'll show you.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's do a Zombicide game then. 4 p.m. Central. And we'll do that then. Mini warm up. You have the table, so you'll have to set it up.
Yeah, I want to do a little more Alpha Strike for sure. That's when I want to work
Yeah.
into our rotation because it is easy. I want to do a little more Monpok, especially once that Kickstarter comes, and then we're all set with that. That'll be a fun fill-in for sure, and it'll be easy to play. There's a few other things coming that we'll be messing with that are going to be pretty simple fill-ins. I got a couple board games coming that'll be fun to play for like one day every now and then, like the Mad Max one that's coming.
Mad Max.
That'll be kind of cool.
That'll be
We'll have
fun.
plenty of room here to play it and just set up a camera and play.
All right, man, go visit your mom and have some fun. Then you should be back in plenty of time. Brian from Weird World War II, you should join. It's not weird, it's just zombies. So it might scare you a little bit because it's not creepy stuff, but
Yes, Minnie, I do need a haircut. True. That was one of my plans. Hey, at least I shaved today.
there you go. Just get a costly vest.
Yeah. Yeah, I do
Just-
need to get a haircut.
I would
That's
say
true.
more than one, Clint. I remember when we were working at that one unnamed company and you walked in and you had completely shaved and cut your hair. I was like,
Yep.
all right, let's see who notices. And it
Yeah.
didn't take long for people
Nope.
to go,
Everyone's like,
"What
what?
are the- Greg, what's wrong with Clint? I said, I don't know, man. You'll have to ask him. I think it's working here. So we, watching it. Yep. All right. It's starting to look like Hell's Angels, Clint. There
yeah,
you go.
yeah, whatever. I'm just looking old. Oh, wait. Same
Oh.
difference.
I just thought of something on the back of those motorcycle gangs jackets. It always says MC for motorcycle club.
Yeah.
It's just say Clint MC miniature club.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he might get beat up though wearing a jacket with no.
Not if I'm
affiliation.
riding a Harley.
Right, Harley. We should do that. Gamers do coffee jackets. We just don't have enough money.
No, that's expensive.
You know, to be in a
It'd
club,
cool,
you gotta
but
have money. Yeah.
that would, yeah, that's,
It has to be leather.
yeah, which is really hot in the summer.
Sweatshirts don't count. Yeah, but motorcycle
Or a
guys
DM.
wear 'em.
You could be looking like a DM, he says.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many opportunities. I thought about making a cool little,
Jerry Garcia.
no, I don't think I'm
Anyway.
that bad. I
No,
thought
no.
about,
I
look,
know. My brother's in the chosen few. I'm sure we could get a hold of some
Yeah.
Harleys from him just for
Nah.
the show.
I do have that Cricket. What I should do is make a big D20 that I can put on the car and just put GM inside it. I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah.
have badges for stuff, why not? You haven't seen what I have for my element, do you?
No.
I bought orange symbols from the Fifth Element.
Oh,
movie.
nice. I know the movie.
I
yeah.
need to,
Fifth
once it gets
Element.
nice and I can clean the window, I'm going to put them on the back of the Element and see who gets
So
it.
only Clint would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Actually, that
well,
was Allison's idea.
who would get that? Not everybody's going to get
No.
that. People that watch the movie, it'll dawn on them. You
Yeah.
have to be at a stoplight and go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got that.
Yep.
That would work.
I'm going to do it. I'm totally going to do it.
You have to
Why
get a
not?
license plate too, though.
I know I should get a license plate that just says the Fifth, which surprisingly, last I checked, is available.
Except for now, you just announced
Until
it, so
now.
maybe not.
Hey,
But
that
you
only
could.
applies here.
That's true.
Not very many people online are from here right now watching. So, plus none of them have
We
an
don't
element.
have a lot of people out here in Alaska.
Yeah.
Or Iowa,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alaska, it's cheaper to ship things to Alaska than Puerto Rico.
Oh my God, Minnie Warmont says
If only
Iowa.
you would know.
Clint's Iowa's own Jerry Garcia, Grateful Corn. Grateful Corn.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now we're really sinking to a new depth.
It's Comedy Central.
It's something,
Because
all
we're on
right.
Central Time.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why.
something, all right. That's for sure.
We're in Iowa, so it has to be corny.
Yes, it does have to be corny
It does.
because that's not an old joke or anything.
Yes, it is an old joke. It's redundant. But see, you still smiled.
But it sprouts up every year.
Sometimes you just have to cut those jokes down,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just it's kind of like saying, how come you're always paranoid in Iowa? All those corn stalks, there's lots of ears listening, you know?
Yeah. And then everyone looks at you and goes, oh, geez.
No, man. You're kind of like the roofer who got sick and ended up with shingles.
Yeah. Sure.
You know,
Sorry.
corn, it's a big lump with knobs.
Yes.
It has the juice.
I watched part of your game last night, Minnie Warmut. I did. I watched a decent chunk of the first part, and I made comments, but you guys didn't know I was there, so it's okay. Just ignore me. Pretend you're family. You know. There's your clue. Wait a minute. I said pretend your family. You said there's your clue. But I think you're talking about the game. Next will be the Old West. Ooh, you want to play in there, Clint?
I don't know. We'll see.
You should try sometime.
I know I should.
It's
give
like
that a
we call it the
throwdown.
sandbox of death.
It's just timing.
Hey, I tried meeting this guy for a job interview that worked at a clock shop, and it was all about the timing.
Yeah,
It just,
sure it was.
There you go. He works at
We
game
need to
shop.
switch gears though.
Oh, now we're gonna talk about racing. All right. So Grimdale, huh? The word grim is not good.
No, I've never played Grimdale.
That's like Badlands. It says bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be a fun experience, right?
Well, no, generally.
Generally, it's not.
I don't know.
Choo-choo.
People go to the Badlands a lot.
Yeah, they tend
Some
to.
die there.
Well, they used to, right?
Some still do.
Some still do.
Hey. Well, I think that's about it, though. Too,
Yeah,
huh?
that's now that we've really
We could-
derailed this conversation.
Yeah. Really sank to a new outstanding lows. We have fun, though.
Yeah,
We
Yeah,
do. That's part of it.
we'll definitely do more battle or more
Werewolves.
Alpha Strike for stuff for sure. I mean, at some point I would like us to throw down a BattleTech, but that's gonna not be a live show for sure.
So
Yeah,
May
old-fashioned
Worma says
one.
werewolves and blue dudes that eat you. That's not good. So
I don't want to be cannibalized by the Blue Man Group.
all right, Greg.
I did that on purpose. just
Clint
to see
does
what
things
Greg would
just
do.
to see if I'll bite my
Yep.
tongue and shut up because we're on air. Yep, I will. I have no choice. I'm not supposed to know me like that, so that's not right. That's not fair.
No, but
that's
it is
an
fun.
advantage, yeah. Kind of like at work when we're talking about Paul and everybody else. Who the hell is Paul? Well,
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah, that was good.
there you go, Minnie Warmite. Go watch the movie Paul. You'll lose some brain cells, but it'll be okay.
He won't. He'll enjoy it.
You won't get it back, but it'll be fun. Oh no,
Yes.
it was, yeah. It just
I wouldn't watch it if I were you
Why'd you?
because it was hilarious, and that's
Oh.
generally what my genre of movies.
Okay.
It's about an alien.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this up then. We were trying to show you guys how to play Alpha Strike, and then we went off onto.
Other
Tell
tangents.
bad,
Goofiness.
and tell
We-
bad jokes.
Well, that's okay. We can do that. We're having fun.
Yeah.
So, we'll. Clint's I was Mary Jane pusher.
No,
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 no.
no.
Mary Game Pusher.
Yeah, it would have to
there
be
you go.
game, not Jane.
And Mary, Merry.
Mary.
That's how my Aunt Mary is spelled.
Oh, really?
Well, that's good for her, but
She was born near Christmas.
Of course.
Called
Oh,
her
God. So they
Mary,
named her Mary. Yeah.
M-E-R-R-Y.
I don't know, you guys, but
Yeah.
anytime you got questions or if you got
Yeah.
ideas for us to do something else, like
we're gonna have some stuff coming that is new or
Yeah.
revamped new, like the Thunder Road is the revamped version of the old game. We're gonna have the new Red Dragon Inn board game coming soon.
has that shipped yet?
They're about to, same with the Thunder Road.
Same with Thunder
And
Road.
then Monpok is just going to be the new stuff for the old game. So we'll know how to play by the time it comes out. We'll just have a lot of really cool stuff to use. Mercenaries, since the Kickstarter hasn't even started, and I'm going to put wagers on that one that it's going to hit 3 million.
Really, you think
well,
so on that?
So Clan Invasion, they asked for 30,000, got $2.8 million.
On Clan
So can
Invasion.
only imagine what everyone's going to do on the mercenary side just to get all the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. Because, well, that's what I'm going to do.
I've heard rumors about Mondays.
All right, Brian, you have fun. He's going to set the table up for us to play Zombicide
That's cool.
at 4. For those of you on TikTok at 4 Central Time, we're going to do some Zombicide if you want to look at that. It'll be on the YouTube channel or Facebook group or page, but won't be on TikTok. It'll be a little bit hard to split that.
Yeah, I would think that would
Yeah,
be
it's
difficult
okay
for you
this
to
way,
do on
but-
that one. But
Yeah.
for
All right,
sure.
Mini Warmont, we'll see you later. You have a good day. The rest of you, we'll see you later. We'll catch up with you. Anything you want to say? Clint?
No, we'll just have more to come. We always have more stuff to come.
Stay
so
tuned. In a week, Clint may get a haircut.
May. We'll see.
In
And like
April.
I said,
It's mostly
I've
if
heard-
Clint remembers to go get his haircut.
Yeah.
and I have heard rumors about Mondays, more to come someday, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
It'll be reported on the news. I'm
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But next Saturday, we'll be broadcasting from Kansas City, Missouri. Me and Keith.
Yep.
So we got the
So
game.
that's what I was going to
out
ask you when you guys are headed out.
That
so.
is going to be, we're
So
heading
we
out
won't be
Friday
meeting
night.
next
And
Sunday.
that's going to be Saturday from March to Victory Game Convention.
That would be
Yeah,
kind of
well,
cool to check in on.
We will be broadcasting live from there. See how that goes too. Well, we're going to play Red Dawn scenario.
Yeah.
I just got to figure out which one. We only got a set amount of time, but
Yeah.
we'll get that done. and
One of
we'll-
these years when we get it more organized, we'll take the RC tanks there and do a
That would be
battle with
fun.
the RC tanks.
Should
We're
be able to
just-
do that.
Well, it was kind of intended for this year till all the tanks fell apart. You want to talk about something not durable? Those things are not durable.
They should be for the price.
You would
pay.
think,
You would
but
think.
but every one of them is broken right now.
Mhm.
Just driving over rough terrain. So just some easy stuff to fix, but still,
We should have had them on flat terrain first, just to see.
we did have them on flat terrain, and then we just tried to take them on not as flat terrain, but not really rough
then-
terrain,
Whoops.
and they still couldn't handle it. So
Mhm.
I've never seen tanks so delicate.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for showing up, you guys. We'll go ahead and end this, and we'll catch you later in a little bit, and we'll have some fun.
I still
Are
love
you
my
waiting?
tank.
Oh, live long and prosper. You're not the only one that can do that.
I know. It took me a long time to learn how to do that.
I'm not in it, am I?
Now you are.
I told you I was just a Trekkie.
Yeah.
I was an official Trekkie.
Yeah. It's also an
Speaking
old
of that-
Jewish priest thing.
I finally
Right.
looked
That's
That's where I
into
got it.
That's where
That's
it
where
comes
we got
from.
it.
the Star Trek Fleet Battles game.
We're confusing people. We say goodbye, and here we go.
I know. Well, we didn't
Star
have to
Trek-
record this. We can still have
Yeah.
a conversation. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
All
I
right.
read
We'll,
all the books.
we'll catch you guys later. Have a good day.